Welcome to my vlog. I just wanted to talk about when I was a young man, people my age up in their 50s. How many of you remember Kmart selling those all blue with a white stripe in them called track shoes? You guys remember those? I hated those shoes. And let me tell you why I hated those shoes. Because my mom was a very poor person. She didn't have much. And the man, my stepdad, that she married, he was a carpenter. And he didn't have much at that point because he had five other or six other kids from his previous marriage that most of his money from his job went to. So when he got that divorce, yeah, his ex-wife was taking a large portion of his check for child support and, of course, alimony. So he probably, back in the 70s, and this is good money, he probably made about $3,000 a month back in the 70s. But when half your paycheck is taken, you ain't got much to live off of. Although I understand that's a lot of money. But this guy is a cheapskate. Not was, but is still today. He's up in his 90s today, and he still is the biggest cheapskate I've ever known in my life. Now, he used to be rich, and let me tell you how that happened. He got into a boating accident because he was a rigorous fisherman. This guy fished sun up to sundown all through the night till sun came up again. He loved fishing on his days off. Well, one Saturday night, he went fishing and a big party boat, and that's what it was, a big party boat was coming up behind him. And he put on a spotlight. He tried to get the guy's attention, the captain, and the captain was drunk off his butt. He didn't know the light from the moon that night. And there was a lot of loud music on the boat, and the boat came up on the back side of the boat and flipped the front end up in the air and threw my stepdad down to, and he got pinned between the motor of the boat in the back. It was an inboard motor, which means the motor's inside of the boat and the prop is outside. So he got pinned between the bow of the boat that hit him and the stern in his boat. And he broke his back in three or four different places. And from that, back in the 70s, he got over $1 million settlement. And he could no longer work after that. So even with all that money that he had, he was still a cheapskate. And he never bought, well, we weren't his kids. Me, my brother, and my sister weren't his kids. But him and my mom did have my younger sister, which was his kid. And he just could not stand to spend his money on us kids, which I completely understand. We were not his kids, but he chose to marry my mother. He chose the responsibility to take on my mother's children, us, and therefore he should have, you know, been a little bit better person than he was to us kids. And he was a vigorous alcoholic. So put that on top of the way he was, and he wasn't a very nice person. But that being said, those track shoes is what he bought me in, for my school days. And I remember getting teased so bad that I had to wear track shoes from Kmart when everyone else in my school got to wear Nikes and Adidas and name brand shoes. While me, while my mother had a millionaire husband, what they didn't know that, had to wear track shoes. And I made it a point throughout my life that I would never get teased again for not having money. And that's why I am the way I am today. Thanks for listening.